Welcome back. It's time now to have our quick press review. But before we start, let me first welcome my dear guest live here in the studio, Dr. Hala Enara, our political analyst of Saturday morning. Ma'am, a very good morning to you first.
Good morning.
And we are going to start immediately. As usual, we do have plenty of headlines, Dr. Hala. So our headlines will start from الأهم, where we read, tomorrow, the formation of the committees responsible for carrying out the decisions of the youth conference starts. The president says the conference helped in the rediscovery of our promising youth and our true future. Still with the same issue tackled in الجمهورية in its main banner. The presidency begins tomorrow executing the decisions of Sharm el-Sheikh conference. El-Sisi says youth is our real fortune. El-Sisi says the conference is a message to the forces of evil, and with our unity and with the refusal of the calls for chaos and sabotage. Taking you to Al-Masri al-Yawm, where the same issue is tackled also in the main banner of the newspaper. The presidency starts tomorrow forming committees to carry out the decisions of the youth conference, working groups to follow up with the recommendations. Ma'am, you know, first, what was really eye-catchy in the speech which was delivered by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in the third and final day of the International Youth Conference, the first which was held in the Ritzy Resort of Sharm el-Sheikh, is that the recommendations of the conference turned to be presidential directives and on the spot.
Yes.
And when President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi summarized the 3 days, he said a very nice statement. The 3 days, the past 3 days, were of the best Egypt had or witnessed in the past few years. How do you see this, ma'am?
In fact, I see it as a reconciliation between Egypt and its future.
Mm-hmm.
There has been some kind of misunderstanding between the state and the youth. The youth were angry. Mm-hmm. They felt that they were left out. They don't have a role in the future of this country. They feel that everything they hear is just talking, just blah, blah, blah. Now they understand that they are part of the process. They are part of making the future. They are the future itself. So encouraging them is doing everything to make our future better.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
listening to them.
this was my coming question, ma'am, because also in the speech, President el-Sisi said that this was a chance to interact with the youth, to exchange visions or points of views in general, in all aspects of life, by the way. It's not only in specific fields. And more than this, to let them speak freely about whatever they like. I mean, it's a kind of
express
being
themselves.
free.
Yes.
Okay? The free speech without insulting, without using, I'm not going to say bad words because there are some voices who are very much specialized in spoiling good atmosphere or a nice atmosphere.
Yes.
How do you see the reaction of the youth? I mean, for example, if we do have a referendum today,
Yes.
or presidential elections, do you think that the participation of youth is going to be different? I'm not here saying that they are going to say yes or no on anything, but to practice political rights in general, is it going to be different after this?
I think their participation will be better than any last elections or referendums, because they feel that they are part of the process. They are sharing. They are giving their input in what's going on. They are expressing themselves. Of course, not every youth in Egypt was in this conference, but youth expressed their feelings freely. And I heard on Nile TV a young woman expressing herself and saying everything we hear from the youth in our families and friends. There was no restrictions. That means we are on a new line now, on a new path.
We do have two big examples regarding what you've kindly mentioned, ma'am. The controversial, and I should say it's controversial, protest law, which is going to be amended according to the vision of the youth, and to study each case of the imprisoned youth whose who are not till the moment
Who are
having
not
verdicts.
terrorists, yes.
Yes.
Who are not terrorists, who didn't act against their country.
Amen to that, ma'am. Back to Al-Ahram front page, where we move to another issue. 18 killed, 40 wounded because of the floods and the rain. I'm not sure, of course, about the statistics, because till the moment we have not heard about 18 killed. We have heard the statistics coming from the Ministry of Health, speaking about only 12. The 12 were 6 in Sohag, 4 in Ras Gharb in Red Sea or Al-Bahr Al-Ahmar, and 2 were electrocuted by thunder in Ismailia. I don't know about those 18. Maybe this is another toll. Al-Jumhuriyya is tackling the same issue. The floods hit 5 governorates, 12 killed, this is the statistics I know, and 43 injured. 2 buses and 3 cars crashed on the Sohag Qina road. The same issue is tackled from Al-Masri اليوم. Floods hit several governorates. Tens of families escape their homes. The army, as usual, intervened and sent helicopters to search for the victims. The Ministry of Health issued statements speaking about the toll, whether of the killed or the injured, all over Egypt. I don't know if I should ask this question this way or no. Is it because of lack of coordination, for example, between the Ministry of Health and the other institutions concerned with this issue, and because of this it happened? But when I was thinking about what happened recently in America, for example, when Obama declared South Carolina and many of the states as disastrous zones,
Yeah.
I think that this is nature when it is angry. But
Yes.
how do you see the reaction of the government?
The difference is in this reaction.
Okay.
The difference is in coordination between the state institutions. The difference is in people themselves, how they help each other, how voluntary work works at these times. It's not, I think, they don't recall their army to rescue people unless there is something very,
Grave.
very, yes, grave. But in ordinary situation, there are state institutions that entitled to work in such cases, and they are used to coordinate with each other, and they are quick in their response. They don't wait until catastrophe happens.
Yeah.
Because you cannot control the nature, no matter how developed and how rich you are. The United States is the most powerful and the most developed country in the world, and they have catastrophes all the time because of the nature.
Yeah.
But they react quickly. We need this quick reaction.
We hope that tomorrow is going to be another day without any other injuries or damages or fatalities. Back to Al-Ahram, where we read, the International Monetary Fund says the agreement with Egypt do not set reducing subsidies as a condition. The official spokesperson of the IMF says enhancing the funds allocated for the social protection is a basic issue of the lean agreement with Egypt. The reforms are on the right track. IMF spokesperson Jerry Rice made the announcement at a news briefing. She said that the IMF program would allow for some budget savings to be diverted to programs that aid the poor, calling this a cornerstone of the deal. Unfortunately, many Egyptians are not that much optimistic with the loan.
Yes.
All the time they are thinking that whenever we receive the first tranche, or the 12 billion in tranches, this is going to be translated into price hikes, and things which the government is not going to be able to control.
Yes.
I mean, should we worry that much, or we should trust our leadership more?
Of course we should worry, because the government itself said wait for harsh measures. People are waiting for harsher measures now, and they are connecting it to the monetary
IMF
fund,
loan.
yes, to this loan. In fact, I am against any loans. We need to work, work, work. We must understand that we must depend on ourselves.
Maybe both side by side, ma'am, because whenever it comes to loans, big powers resort to loans when it comes to their economic crises. Because I don't think that America is not suffering economic crisis, for example.
In fact, this is left for an economic expert to explain. But an economist once explained to me that all countries use loans, but they have their ways to deal with them, how to deal with the loan, how to pay. But first, people must work. There must be a plan for people to work. And until now, people are not working. In fact, we must work harder. We must increase exports. We must do whatever is needed.
Do our homework first
to
and
encourage investments, as we are hearing that there are problems and differences between different ministries. They are against what the Minister of Investment is proposing to make investment easier in Egypt.
Yeah.
We must stop this kind of competition when it
And
comes.
maybe because of this, ma'am, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said there is an investment council which is going to be formed to be headed by him to eradicate all these obstacles you were kindly mentioned in front of investment, whether to Egyptian or Arab investors or to foreign investors.
But that means that we are putting every burden on his shoulders. There is a government that must work. He must not do everything himself.
I kept on saying this, ma'am, by the way. It's not a one-man show, and it shouldn't be a one-man show.
He must deal with the youth. He must solve the problems. People ask him to solve any problem as if the government is not there.
He must be also the one who delivers speeches in front of the people, to speak to the nation and to answer all their questions, and to. And after that, the people would say, why everything are in the hands of the president? It's not at all his wish. He is doing this because nobody is doing that whenever he is absent or he is out of the country. Anyhow, let's go to Al-Ahram front page where we read some regional news. Cairo strongly condemns the Houthi missile which was fired towards Mecca. The Arab coalition intercepts a missile that was fired by the Houthi militants towards the holy city of Mecca. The same issue is tackled in Al-Masri Al-Yawm front page also. Saudi Arabia intercepts a Houthi missile towards Mecca, and the Arab coalition promises a violent response. Egypt, Al-Azhar, the Arab League, the Foreign Ministry, and the Gulf Cooperation Council, or the GCC, say bold terrorism. We are going to know the details about this issue in the coming comprehensive detailed reports by Ines Hibas.
Yemeni Houthi rebels have launched one of their longest-range strikes against Saudi Arabia, firing a ballistic missile that was shot down near the holy city of Mecca. The Arab coalition reported the news on Friday, as the Houthi rebels insisted the missile had targeted Jeddah, the Red Sea city in the Mecca region of the holy Muslim city. The coalition has been carrying out a bombing campaign against the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels since March last year, and there have been rebel strikes towards their air bases. Saudi Arabia has deployed Patriot missiles to intercept the rebel fire. A coalition statement said Houthi rebels launched the missile towards the Mecca area on Thursday from their Saada province stronghold across the border. The rebels' Saba News website said their ballistic missile targeted Jeddah International Airport. Meanwhile, the Six-Nation Gulf Cooperation Council condemned the clear evidence that the rebels are unwilling to accept a political solution to Yemen's 19-month-old conflict. The United Arab Emirates Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah ibn Zayed Al Nahyan went further criticizing Iran for the attack. Qatar called the attack a provocation to the feelings of millions of Muslims worldwide. All GCC states, apart from Oman, are members of the Arab coalition. The coalition and the United States accuse Iran of arming the rebels, a charge Tehran denies.
Welcome back. The international community now is asking, do you still accept or believe that the Houthis are Muslims, because whenever it comes to the holy sites, and in specific to Al-Kaaba or the Grand Mosque, no Muslim would be able even to think about hitting it. So how do you see this as a development? Because Al-Azhar in specific, and I'm going to quote Al-Azhar, said that this is a disastrous development in the war. This has nothing to do with the war in Yemen.
Yes, but it may be done to attract attention. There is war, and no one is paying attention that there are victims falling every day. And what's more important is the question, why are Muslims fighting each other? Why are Muslims the only community, the only religion in the world fighting each other? There is only one Islam sent by God. I don't understand about Shiite and Sunni. There is one Islam God sent. All differences are made by human beings. We must not fight each other. Christians do not fight each other. Jews are not fighting each other. Buddhists or Hindus or any kind of religion, people are not fighting each other. We are the only people fighting each other, and we are a joke. Angela Merkel said that Muslims are the only people fighting each other. In India and China, there are 800 convictions and 800 religions, but they are not fighting each other.
Yeah.
But in Islam, there is one God, and they are fighting each other. Why are we making ourselves a joke and satired by the whole world?
This has nothing to do with religion.
It's power.
This has something to do with the private interests,
of
with
course.
Greedy people, with people thinking only about what they would gain, which part of the cake I'm going to take.
Yes, greed for power.
Yes, ma'am, amen to that. Anyhow, let's wait that tomorrow is going to be better.
I hope so.
Dr. Hala, thank you very much for your input, and have a very good day now.
You're welcome.
By this, we come to the end of our quick press review. Stay tuned on Nile TV International always for more. Right after the short break, we are going to be back with the remaining part of our breakfast show.